Okay, so all of you please concentrate. So in the morning session, we discussed that one transducer, electrical transducer, which is a linear variable differential transformer. Is it right? And this, if you try to see that, if you try to see the summary for LVDT, so what you have to remember, this LVDT is passive inductive type of a transducer. Okay, MCQ ला विचारले जाणारे क्वेश्चन त्यापैकी काही क्वेश्चन सांगतोय बघा. One thing is that LVDT is passive inductive type of a transducer. Another thing is that it is electrical transducer. Okay, MCQ ला विचारलं जाऊ शकतं. And another thing is that what is the application of LVDT? It is used for the measurement of displacement. Get it my point? So this is the summary of LVDT is there. And now the next type of a transducer, we call it a reluctance pulse pickup. Now, if you see the title, you can observe that the reluctance. Is this word is familiar with you? Definitely, we learn this word in magnetic circuit. In the magnetic circuit, opposition to the flow of a flux, we call it a reluctance. It is represented with a S, if you try to remember that. Is it right? It means that this transducer, again, it is depends upon that magnetic circuit. And let me give that another one word for the transducer. For the transducer, either you can call it's a sensor or you can call it's a pickup. This is the name of the transducers are that. Pick up, it will pick up the signal, input signal, and give it to the output signal. That's why it is also known as a pickup. It means that it is the reluctance pulse transducer, it is reluctance pulse pickup, and which is depends upon that magnetic circuit is there. Now see that what is the basic construction? Again, just like a LVDT, this reluctance pulse pickup, it can be also used for the measurement of a displacement here. It means that the reluctance pulse pickup will measure the displacement parameter. This is the mechanical term in terms of electrical signal. Electrical signal. It means that displacement is the input parameter to the reluctance pulse pickup and the electrical signal is the output parameter is there. Now, how the displacement it can be measured? Let's we try to see that. First, the basic construction of the reluctance pulse pickup, and then we will see that it's a work. Again, if you try to read that the first line is very important for MCQ type of a question. The reluctance pulse pickup is a passive inductive type of a transducer. Now see that what is the principle? It is based on the principle that if the field of any magnet is varied momentarily by the motion of external magnetic body, a voltage pulse is generated at the coil because of change in flux around the coil here. Now, if you observe that here one C-shaped ferromagnetic material is there, C-shape. This is the ferromagnetic material is there, C-shape I say that. And this is the permanent magnet. This is the permanent magnet. And when I say that this C-shape is a permanent magnet, it means that it has its own magnetic field around it. Is it right? It has its own magnetic field is there. On that permanent magnet, a one coil, have you observed that? On that C shape, a one coil of n number of turns is wound. So the output is taken in between the two terminals of that coil is there. Is it that clear? This is the first part. Second part, one iron rod. This is the iron rod. Why I consider that it's a one iron bar or rod? Because this iron material is a one magnetic material. So one iron bar is, we consider that this is the second part of that construction here. This is the first part, and this is, sorry, this is the second part, and this is the first part is there. And this iron rod will have the displacement. And if you observe that when this iron bar, it comes in the magnetic region produced by this permanent magnet, so this is the air gap is produced. This is the air gap in between the permanent magnet, or we say that it's a ferromagnet material, and that iron bar is there. And when this iron bar having a continuous movement in the magnetic field produced by this ferromagnetic material, then definitely the magnetic field will change. And this change in magnetic field, when it link with this coil, according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, EMF is induced in between the two terminals of that coil is there. And this induced EMF is totally based on the displacement of this iron bar is there. In this way, the displacement of that iron bar will produce the EMF in the magnetic, in the coil here. And this induced EMF is proportional with the displacement of this iron bar here. So once again, please try to read that. It is the based on the principle that if the field of any magnet is varied momentarily by the motion of external magnetic body, a voltage pulse is generated at the coil because of change in flux surrounding the coil here. And who will change the flux? The movement of, or the displacement of this iron bar in the magnetic field of this ferromagnetic material will change the flux. And when they change the flux, it will link with that the coil, that EMF is induced. This is the simple logic is there. And now try to see that what is that working principle or working of this reluctance pulse pickup. The target means what? Iron bar. Iron bar displacement varies the length of an air gap. How the iron bar varies the length of that iron air gap? Because when the iron bar, it move towards the C-shaped magnetic field, definitely the length of that air gap is get reduced. And if that iron bar is move away from that C shape of the magnetic permanent magnet, definitely the length of that air gap is increased. So now what is the relation of length of that air gap and the EMF induced in that coil? Now try to see that. The target means bar, displacement varies the length of that air gap and thus changes the reluctance of the magnetic circuit. मग reluctance आणि length of that air gap चं काय relation आहे? Let's we try to identify first. The equation for the magnetic path reluctance is, as you know that this is the formula for reluctance. S is equal to L upon mu A. Is it right? So where I say that mu R is equal to 1 because air gap, for air gap the relative permeability is always 1. So otherwise our formula for reluctance is L upon mu 0 mu R A. This is our formula for the reluctance. And now we know that inductance of the coil which is wound on that C shape of a permanent magnet is inversely proportional to the reluctance. So the L is equal to N square by S. This is the formula for self-inductance. Now S means what? If I try to put that the value of S in that equation, so here we got self-inductance L, which is equal to N square, and that S is nothing but L upon mu 0 A. If I try to subtract the value of S, so that L it comes at the denominator side and mu 0 A it comes at the numerator side here. Now if you observe this formula very carefully, it is observed that the number of turns is the constant terms. Mu 0 is having its constant value, which is nothing but 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7 Henry per meter, and that area of cross section of the magnetic circuit is there. So here, if I say that N mu 0 A are the constant terms, then we can say that the self-inductance of the coil is directly proportional to the length. And as the length of that air gap is going to be changed, so definitely the self-inductance is also changed. बरोबर आहे. जसा मॅग्नेट आयर्न बार हा सी शेप परमनंट मॅग्नेट कडे जवळ येईल त्यावेळेस लेंथ ऑफ दॅट एअर गॅप इज रिड्युसेस आणि तो ज्यावेळेस लांब जाईल त्यावेळेस लेंथ ऑफ द एअर गॅप इज गेट इन्क्रीज अँड बेस्ड ऑन दॅट लेंथ ऑफ दॅट एअर गॅप द एल ऑफ द self inductance of the coil is get increased or get changed. Hence, inductance of the coil is the function of the distance of the target, that is the length of that air gap. A voltage pulse is produced every time when the target distorts magnetic field of the coil. म्हणजे ज्यावेळेस आयर्न बार हा मॅग्नेटिक फील्ड मध्ये येईल आणि तो आयर्न बार मूव्ह होईल, either it comes close to that permanent magnet or it goes away from that permanent magnet, definitely the movement of that iron bar will disturb the magnetic field produced by the permanent magnet. And when the magnetic field, it will be disturbed, and this disturbing magnetic field, when it link with the coil which is wound on that permanent magnet, according to that equation of a Faraday's law, I say that this equation E is equal to L di by dt. As the L, it will be changed. So definitely the induced EMF in the coil is also changed. And this induced EMF is proportional to the displacement here. Is proportional to the displacement produced by that iron rod is there. So in this way, by using the reluctance pulse pickup, we can measure the displacement in the form of output voltage is there. Now you can imagine the one thing. If this second part is not the part of the circuit, म्हणजे हा आयर्न बारच नसेल तर नेमकं काय होऊ शकतं. आता मी तुम्हाला थोडंसं समजून सांगतो की हा आयर्न बार असल्यामुळे आउटपुट व्होल्टेज कसं जनरेट होत आहे. आता पहिल्यांदा आपण अज्युम करूया की हा आयर्न बारच या सर्किट मध्ये नाहीये. मग काय होऊ शकतं बघा, हा सी शेप परमनंट मॅग्नेट आहे. मग हा परमनंट मॅग्नेट आहे म्हणलं की त्याची एक फिक्स्ड मॅग्नेटिक फील्ड असेल. ती मॅग्नेटिक फील्ड या कॉइलला लिंक पण होईल, परंतु या कॉइल मध्ये आउटपुट व्होल्टेज जनरेट होईल का? According to the Faraday's law, what is the mandatory criteria to induce the EMF in the coil? The mandatory criteria is that the magnetic field link with the coil must change. आणि जर आयर्न बार त्या ठिकाणी नसेल तर एक फिक्स्ड मॅग्नेटिक फील्ड असेल, स्टेबल मॅग्नेटिक फील्ड असेल, आणि ही स्टेबल मॅग्नेटिक फील्ड ज्यावेळेस या कॉइलला लिंक होईल त्यावेळेस आउटपुट व्होल्टेज जनरेट होणार नाही. Now, if we assume that iron bar is present in the circuit, and this iron bar having a movement in the magnetic field produced by this permanent magnet, so when this iron bar is movable in the magnetic field, it will disturb the magnetic field, and when this disturb the magnetic field link with the coil, according to Faraday's law, EMF is induced or that pulse will be generated. That one particular signal for the short time, that is called as a pulse, it will be generated, and this pulse is in a proportion with the displacement of that iron bar here. So this is the basic principle behind the reluctance pulse pickup is there. Okay, so in this way, right now we discuss that the two transducer, one is LVDT and another one is reluctance pulse pickup. Reluctance pulse pickup. And these both the type of transducers are passive, inductive, electrical transducers. Passive, inductive, electrical transducer. And these both the type of transducer are used for the measurement of a displacement here. So please try to remember, this is the summary point of both the type of transducers are there. Okay. And now let's try to discuss that the strain gauge. Either you can say that gauge or gauge, no doubt about it. Now, I think in the applied mechanics, you might be learn the two concepts. One is a strain and another one is a trace. Get it, my point? And based on that, this is a type of a transducer. That's why the name it is given as a strain gauge. And this type of a transducer is also a passive type of a transducer. Why I say that it's a passive? Because external energy source is required. External energy source is required. Then this type of a transducer is an electrical transducer. It means that output form of energy is electrical signal. And another one point is that this is called as passive resistive type of a transducer. Now, why that resistive? Because applied strain will change the resistance of that transducer. That's why it is called as a passive resistive type of a transducer. And as the output of this transducer is an electrical signal, that's why it is called as an electrical transducer is there. So please take a screenshot, because this will be asked for MCQ type of question is there, and give me the response.
Yes, sir.
Take it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see that again. Let me clear that the one thing, there are so many types of the strain gauges are there. So many, I say that, and all type of strain gauges are used for the measurement of force. Now see that what are the application of strain gauges. Let me give that at the start. Force, pressure, weight, etc. The strain gauges are used for the measurement of a force, pressure, weight, etc. Now try to see that. And as I explain these things, this strain gauge is a part of a weight machine. Then you can say that human weight machine. Then for any purpose, whatever that weight machines are used, that in that the strain gauge is used. Now try to see that. Strain gauge. What I say that the first line is very important, which is almost 99% it will be asked for MCQ type of question. The strain gauge is a passive resistive type transducer. Strain gauge are device whose resistance changes under the application of a force or strain. They can be used for the measurement of a force, strain, stress, pressure, small displacement also, and that acceleration, etc. Means for so many applications, the strain gauge are used. Now, as I say that there are so many types of strain gauges are available, but the basic principle behind all type of strain gauges is it's remains same. And what is that basic principle? If the metallic wire is stretched or compressed, its dimension changes. It means that length and diameter due to applied strain. In turn, wire resistance increases or decreases respectively. This property is called piezoresistive effect. What is called piezoresistive effect? Therefore, resistance strain gauge is called piezoresistive strain gauge. Means another one name for the strain gauge is nothing but piezoresistive gauge. Why it is called as a piezoresistive gauge? It is given in that basic principle. Once again, please try to read it very carefully. If the metallic wire is stretched or compressed, if you take a one metallic wire and if you apply the pressure, either you can pull both the end of that wire or you can compress that wire. It is observed that the dimension of that metallic wire is changed, and due to applied strain or pressure, in turn the resistance of that wire is increases or decreases respectively. This property of changing the resistance due to applied strain is called as a piezoresistive effect. Therefore, another one name to the strain gauge is called as a piezoresistive gauge is there. And as you know that the resistance of a metallic wire is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to that area of cross section. And suppose I say that, suppose this is that wire, and if we apply the pressure on that wire, definitely the dimension it will be changed. Or you can compress that the wire, definitely in that case also the dimension is going to be changed. And in turn, as the length and area of cross section is going to be changed, in turn what it will be changed? The resistance of that wire, it will be changed respectively. And this change in resistance, it can be, or this change in resistance is always in a proportion with applied force or applied pressure or applied strain here. Suppose the original length of a wire is L meter and original resistance is R ohm. An external tensile force or compressive force increases or decreases length as well as the resistance of wire. So change in resistance is delta R. Means before applying the force, its resistance is R ohm. Before applying the force, its length is L meter. But after applying the force, the change in resistance is a delta R and the change in length is a delta L. And based on that, the factor can be calculated, and that factor is known as a gauge factor. How the resistance of that wire is going to be changed? As the length is going to be changed, so that gauge factor is nothing but, I can say here, change in resistance to the original resistance to the change in a length L to original length. So this factor is nothing but the gauge factor here. And this gauge factor will decide the sensitivity of the strain gauge. How? When there is a small change in the length due to the applied force or the pressure, if the large value of a resistance is going to be changed, then definitely its gauge factor is more and it can be easily sensed. That's why I say that the gauge factor will decide the sensitivity of the strain gauge is there. And now please try to see that there are, I say that the few types of the strain gauge. One is the metal wire strain gauge. It means that only that small diameter of wire is used in the strain gauge. Then second is the metal foil. Foil is nothing but thin metal sheet. Thin metal sheet. It's called as a foil. If the thin metal sheet of foil it is used, then we call it the metal foil strain gauge. And third one is a semiconductor strain gauge. If you consider one piece of a semiconductor, is it right? And if you apply the pressure on that semiconductor, or you just hammer on that semiconductor, it is observed that its resistance is going to be changed. And this property of a strain gauge is called as piezoresistive effect. It means that the semiconductor material is also used while construction of the strain gauge is there. And now whatever the weight machines you observed in the gold and the silver shop, all these weight machines are prepared with the semiconductor strain gauge because its sensitivity is very high. Get it my point? But for our syllabus, we have to learn only the metal wire strain gauge is that. It means that if certain wire is considered with the help of this strain gauge, I say that this is the metal wire strain gauge is there. And in that metal wire strain gauge, again, the two types are there. One is unbonded wire strain gauge and the bonded wire strain gauge is there. Now see that what is the basic? The basic principle behind all these three types of a strain gauge is remain same. And what is that basic principle? If we apply the pressure on the two end of a wire, or if we apply the compression of the two end of that wire, its length and area cross section will change, and this change in a dimension will do the changes in its resistance, and this change in resistance is called as piezoresistive effect, and this change in resistance is directly proportional to applied force. So the force is directly calculated with the help of change in resistance by using the strain gauge is there. That's why this strain gauge is called as passive resistive type of a strain gauge is there. Get it my point? And now have a concentrate on the metal wire strain gauge is there. Now see that. If you observe that this is unbonded metal wire strain gauge is there. Mata yacha construction baga. The first thing is that, have you observed that the C-shape base, this is the base. C-shape base. On that C-shape base, one spring element on this mounted ring, the two strips are there. This one is the first and this one is the second. Two strips are there which are mounted on it, and on that two strip at exact midpoint or at exact meeting of this two strip, one rod is connected to the diaphragm, and this is called as the force rod. Very important thing is that, and this is the diaphragm. Just like a weight machine, you can observe that this is the base on which you can stand, and once you can stand over this diaphragm, then this force will be accepted by this force rod, and it will be given on these rings here. So have you observed that on that two strip, the 4 points are there, 1, 2, 3, and 4 rods are there, and on that 4 rods, a ring, that one smaller diameter wire is wound on that upper side also and on that below side also. Now have you noticed that when you stand on that diaphragm, so definitely this force will be accepted by these two plates, and when this force will be accepted by these two plates, whatever the wire is wound on that 4 point, either it will experience the force of either it will experience that the compression or it will experience the tension. And once the compression and the tension will be experienced by this wire, which is unbonded to anywhere, so their dimension is going to be changed. It means that their length and area cross section, it will be changed. And once the dimension of that wire, it will be changed, so definitely the resistance of both the wire is changed, and this change in resistance we can measure directly in the form of applied forces there. Now this is, now see that the difference here, a wire of a small diameter is tightly wound on this 4 point. Is it right? But this is the unbonded metal wire strain gauge, and now you can see that what is the actual picture of a bonded wire strain gauge. So this is nothing but, I say that the base material, either you can consider the plastic, paper, cardboard type, base material, and on that base material, a one small diameter wire, this is which will be paste, which will be attached on that base material with some adhesive material in a zigzag position, and these are the two terminals are there. And now if the force or the pressure, if it is applied on that cardboard, so this force or the pressure will experienced by this grid wire, and accordingly its a dimension it will be changed, and as the dimension it will be changed, its a resistance is going to be changed here. Either you can apply the force of the force in this way, or you can apply the force in this way is there. Accordingly, type of that force is applied on that the cardboard or the base material, the force will directly experienced by this grid wire, and based on that its resistance it will be changed. So this change in resistance of that wire is always directly proportional to the applied voltage is there. आता तुम्हाला जो काय फोर्स आपण अप्लाय करणार आहेत या बेस मटेरियलला, आणि त्यामुळं या वायरचा रेजिस्टन्स चेंज होणार आहे हे लक्षात आलं. पण आता हा चेंज झालेला रेजिस्टन्स इलेक्ट्रिक सिग्नलच्या फॉर्म मध्ये कसा मिळणार आहे? हाऊ टू मेजर दॅट दिस चेंज इन रेजिस्टन्स? फॉर दॅट पर्पज द बॉन्डेड वायर स्ट्रेन गेज or unbonded wire strain gauge are always connected in a Wheatstone meter bridge. बघा, आता जर तुम्ही Wheatstone meter bridge ची सर्किट डायग्राम बघितली, so as you know that for the operation of a Wheatstone meter bridge, it is necessary to connect it to that external supply, and this is that external supply. And to measure the applied force by using the strain gauge, it is compulsory we need to connect in a Wheatstone meter bridge, and to operate that Wheatstone meter bridge on that external supply, that's why the strain gauge is called as a passive type of a transducer, because external supply is needed. Get it my point? Now see, this is a Wheatstone meter bridge. Now in this Wheatstone meter bridge, a one active type of a strain gauge is connected, and now you just assume that here a one dummy strain gauge is connected. Now this is, I say that, dummy strain gauge. Now why the dummy strain gauge is required? Let me give that the answer for this question. Initially we want to make this Wheatstone meter bridge is in a balanced condition. म्हणजे ज्यावेळेस आपण या ऍक्टिव्ह स्ट्रेन गेज वरती कोणत्याही प्रकारचा फोर्स अप्लाय करणार नाही, त्यावेळेस आपल्याला काय पाहिजे? हे ब्रिज बॅलन्स पाहिजे. मग ज्यावेळेस ब्रिज बॅलन्स असेल त्यावेळेस Wheatstone मीटर ब्रिजचं आउटपुट काय असतंय? इट बिकम 0 व्होल्ट. इनिशियली आय से दॅट दिस इज द इनिशियल स्टेज. बट आता असं अज्युम करा की आपला हा Wheatstone मीटर ब्रिज बॅलन्स आहे without applying force or pressure. That time we have that output voltage 0. आता दुसरी गोष्ट आता अज्युम करा की आता या स्ट्रेन गेज वरती आपण फोर्स अप्लाय केलाय. मग ज्यावेळेस आपण फोर्स अप्लाय करू त्यावेळेस त्याचं काय चेंज होत आहे? ड्यू टू द अप्लाइड फोर्स रेजिस्टन्स ऑफ स्ट्रेन गेज इज गोइंग टू बी चेंज्ड. मग आता जर या ऍक्टिव्ह स्ट्रेन गेजचा रेजिस्टन्स चेंज झाला तर हा Wheatstone मीटर ब्रिज काय झाला? अनबॅलन्स्ड झाला. अनबॅलन्स्ड झाला. आणि ज्यावेळेस तो अनबॅलन्स्ड होईल, certain value of output voltage we get it, and this output voltage is directly proportional to the applied force is there. In this way we can measure the applied force or pressure or weight in the form of electric voltage is there. That's why this strain gauge is called as passive electrical transducer is there. This is the basic principle here. So what you can summarize the point? The strain gauge is called as a passive, resistive, electrical type of a transducer. And as the name suggests that the strain, applied strain, it means that this strain gauge is measured or it is used for the measurement of force, pressure, weight. Get it my point? And what is that basic principle? The basic principle is nothing but when the force is applied on the strain gauge, the resistance of the wire used for the strain gauge is going to be changed, and this resistance, change in resistance, we can measure by connecting in a Wheatstone meter bridge in the form of electric voltage is there. Now you can try to read it. To measure the input parameter, it means that force, pressure, weight of a strain gauge, it is always connected in a Wheatstone meter bridge as shown in figure. Initially, 4 arm of a bridge made equal with output voltage 0. It means that Wheatstone meter bridge should be balanced. Application of a force, pressure, or the small displacement to the unbonded wire strain gauge produces tension or compression so that its resistance will increase or decrease. This cause bridge is in unbalanced condition, which will produce the output voltage proportional to that input parameter is there.